So good evening. I want to say God bless you. I'm grateful for a time. Just come close to me a bit. A time like this that we are gathered together. I'm grateful to God for the privilege of life that He has given to us to be gathered in His name. I want to appreciate God for that. I want to bless the Lord for that. And for you also to be here to listen to what I'm about to share with you this evening, because if not for privilege, you wouldn't have joined me to hear what I want to say. So I'm grateful to God for that, for you joining me. And how will I start? So many things happening today in marriages that people don't know, and today, and that's what I want to do for just a few minutes. I want to crave your indulgence to share with you what I have in mind. I do not claim to know everything. I do not claim to know everything. Actually, I don't even know anything at all. But there are some things that I know that will help you survive a lot of heartbreak and make you survive a lot of hurts. And that's why I'm here. I've been a marriage counselor, I've been a marriage therapist, relationship therapist for some years, for some time now. And I've seen a lot of things happening to marriages. I've seen a lot of things happening to singles. And I want to guide against that. And that's why I'm here. And that's what I call it, hard truths. Actualities nobody told you. So before you go into marriage, before you go into accepting anybody's proposal, it is important for you to understand these things before you go into it, so that you won't be shocked or you won't say, I'm not doing it again. So that's why we are here. You know, I have to write something down on my system that I need to read to as many that we care to listen. I said that more often than not, we watch and read fictional stories that and they married and they lived happily ever after. The truth is that's a no. I'm sure some of you told me stone later, inbox my start saying a lot of things. Happily ever after stories. We have heard about it even before I giving back to all those things like that. So some of the things I want to share with us, 11 truths that you don't know about. I'm going to share about them to you. I want to share them to you this evening. Number one of them that people have been number one, people have been lied to about it. And then many people are not telling the story, real truth about it is this. I wrote it down here. I was even guilty of it. Everybody thinks marriage is an escape route. As in, if I get married like this, thank God. And that's a lie. Great lie. Great lie that you've been told that when you get married, everything will fall into place. That is a lie. So number one thing that we must come to realize is this: getting married, or marriage is not an escape route for you. Escape route in the sense that when you get married, money will come into place, children will come into place, you will have peace, all the peace I've been looking for. Now you're not an individual. It's a lie. Do not be deceived. That's a great lie, because it will shock you when you get married. You see that you have been told a lie. Number two, sometimes people always feel that when you get married, 1 year into the marriage, things get robust. There's a scripture: he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtained favor, obtained mercy, obtained grace. And when you mention those three things, it means that things begin to work. I'm not breaking the scripture because I have a counter scripture to make you understand what I'm trying to say. It is not the truth. because it will shock you that things that you don't bargain for, some of those things I will let you into it to shock you that it doesn't work that way. So getting married is not an escape from trouble. Getting married is not an escape from storm. No, that's a lie. Number two that you and I need to consider, when it comes to marriage, the reality of marriage is this. Have you ever had, or maybe you have been told, maybe you have gone to counseling session, or you've had some elders tell you this, the person will complete you. You are getting married to a man, you're getting married to a woman, and say, okay, that way you complement each other, that person will complete you. It's a lie. Let's imagine this. Your fiancé or your fiancé, your man or your woman is coming from a different background. You are coming from a different background. You are coming from different origin. You are coming from a different tradition. Oh yes, I'm sure my targeted audience here this evening, they are Christians. True. But excuse me, when two of you come together, complete, it's a no-no. I know that at the end of the day, the counsel I give people is you people should be able to manage each other to reach what the economics call equilibrium. But for you to complete each other, it's a no-no. Don't be deceived that when you get married to let's say bone of your bone, rib of your rib, it's a lie. It doesn't work that way. Two of you come together to begin to manage yourself, not to complete yourself. Because the person that you are getting married to or getting married to you is coming from a different, total different, atmosphere, total different tradition, something different. Do you know? It is not even about the Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. No, because we know different kind of tribe also, even embedded in Yoruba. I'm a Yoruba person, and I'm married to a Yoruba person. I'm in Jebu. And the person that I'm married to is Yoruba, but from Egba. They are still Yoruba. Or from Oyo. They are still Yoruba. Different ethnicity, different background, different tradition, different, no, this is how we do it. Different norms, different beliefs. And you are still a child of God. So it is important for you to understand this thing because it kills marriages quicker. Don't forget, there are realities. And the reason why we are sharing this is to help you guard you against this thing, so you can sit down your mind, sit down your woman, and talk about this thing, so that when issues like this come up, you should not be surprised. It should not shock you. Number one, I talked about that. Like before I continue, please, if there are questions you need to ask, please. I'm seeing what you can comment, put in the comment box, and I will respond to you, because the essence is also a seminar, so I can receive back what I'm talking about. For those who are joining us, we're talking about hard realities nobody told you about marriage. Another word is that the things you need to consider, things you need to look at, things that you have not had before about marriage. These are the things that we are sharing to us this evening. So if you have some questions, please comment, put in the comment box, and I will respond to it while I'm talking to you or later on. So number 3 that you need to consider, marriage. I think I've shared it before, because this is very focal. This is very important when it comes to marriage. That most Christians these days, it's either they're overdoing it or they're not doing it at all. They're not putting a balance to it. I remember for some time I've been sharing concerning red flags on this platform, and I tell people about it. Spirituality in marriage is so much important, because the person that instituted marriage is God. So it is important for you to be spiritual. But and I want to go a step further, which I've shared before. As you are spiritual, as a man, the man needs to be spiritual, because there are challenges in homes today, because the man is not spiritual, or the woman is much spiritual than the man. They have issues at home because the man is not hearing anything, and you that are connected to God is saying telling you to do something, and the man is saying no, and they're telling you no. And So it is important to consider this. If you want to get married to a man, consider this. Or the woman is much fitter than you. There will be issues. I've had people now after getting married, they are not saying that no, I don't want my wife to cover. I want my wife to cover her hair. I don't want my wife to wear trousers. All those things like that. It's spirituality, and these things must be discussed. Going to church, which church to go to? These days we see husbands who are pastors going to different church. The husband is going to this church, the wife goes to this church, and you call yourself a Christian and you call yourself you are spiritual. No. So this spirituality of the thing is important. The hard truth is this: get it right. If your husband is not spiritual, I tell people don't go there. So consider the spiritual aspect of your man. Consider the spiritual aspect of your woman. But don't cover it up. Don't pretend about it. Don't say okay. That's the next one I'll talk about. Don't say because I love him. No. And that's why I'm coming to number 4. Love is not in. Sometimes when I talk about this love matter, people say no, I should not be talking about that. You're a child of God, it's supposed to have God's kind of love. Love is not enough to sustain marriage. Let me say it again. Love is not enough to sustain marriage. If you are hearing me, I'm saying to you right now, love is not, because you love that guy, it's not enough to sustain that marriage. Love is the start. Love is the basic. Other things must follow. If you don't put other things in place, then you're in serious trouble. Unfortunately, we're in the last days where a lot of nonsense will happen. A lot of nonsense will surely happen, even in homes. I shared last week about the realities of this pandemic. About this pandemic, we know people know how virus. The death that will occur, it will not be by virus, the coronavirus, the COVID-19. No. It will be as a result of the effect of the COVID-19. And one of the effects, it will break marriages. So these things are important. So love is good. Love is the bedrock. Love is the fundamental. Love is the foundation. But love is not enough. Why do you see pastors that we respect? And I heard of one recently that when she was my mentor, and then she decided to remarry when this man is alive, and then the excuse they gave us was very reconcilable this difference. I'm asking myself, pastor, and I heard just yesterday that she's getting married to the 3rd husband, 3rd one. So are you going to say that she doesn't love? Or she know what happened with love? To understand, one of the hard realities of marriages is love is not enough. So if you want to get married, understand this simple truth that love. Number 5, it is important for you to know people. When I hear Christians talk, Christians are too spiritual. And if you read Ecclesiastes, one of the chapters there, it talks about God hates those who are over righteous. God hates those who are over spiritual. Anything that is over, God hates it. So in this matter, it is important for you to understand. 1, love is not enough. The next point, it is important. Because if you don't consider it, why do you think, unfortunately, Oyinbos, people who are there, they've now turned it into a competition that even Guinness Book of Records consider it. Marriage, I don't know the latest now. I think I've heard about marriage of 1 year, marriage of 1 month, and unfortunately, we also in the part of the world are copying them. And I wonder, why are we copying them? In as much as we have the scripture to follow. I know times are evil, but times we are not ignorant of the times that are evil, because it is there in the Bible that these things will start happening. So the next one I'm talking about is people are always over spiritual about it, and that's the issue of sex. I tell people, you can consider your blood group. Why are you now being too spiritual about considering the sex matter the sex issues. When I talk about sex, I know I always share the testimony. I know what I was sharing concerning to adults on a platform about dirty talks in the bedroom, and then some people started to talk to me as if I'm not a born again Christian, I'm not a pastor again. I thought they removed me from the platform, and I smiled because the information I am feeding you, some people pay for it, I'm giving for free, and you don't really get what I'm trying to say. There are things, sex in marriage is important. Why do you see these days? Yes, I know some people that are cheaters in nature. I know some people that are adulterers in nature. But more often than not, if you check 60%, and I read a research on Americans and then part of Africans and white people do premarital sex. And we are told 55% of people do premarital sex, not because they're not Christians, but because they were denied sex. And they were denied sex not because there's no woman in the house. There's a woman in the house, but the woman in the house or the man in the house does not understand what sex is all about. So most Christians does not understand what sex is all about. Sometimes just say, come, let's sleep, let's have baby. Some of them, most Christians are just making babies. God is instituted sex between husband and wife for union, for it goes beyond making babies, for friendship, love between each other. It's not about putting the private, no, it's not about sexual intercourse alone. It's about every aspect of your life. So it is important for you to know this thing I'm saying has killed many marriages because there was no understanding about this thing. And that's why I always propose and tell people that it's important, even after you get married, when you do pre-counseling session, it's always important for you to do post-counseling session. Let somebody who's a relationship coach or who's a relationship therapy be a guide for you in your marriage. Not because the person is a pastor, not because the person is the child of God, but because the person is a professional in that field. And that's why I always advocate to tell people that it's not because somebody has collar on his neck or is called a pastor, he cannot do counseling for you, for your marriage, or counseling. Coincidentally, somebody was there in my home and I was sharing concerning the counseling session she went through, and I was so amazed and so happy because she told me they have somebody who will counsel them, somebody who will counsel them in the area of anger, somebody who will counsel them in the area of finance. No, as a different person who are professional in that field, who are called in that field, who are trained in that field, not because the person is the pastor or general overseer and sit down and say, okay, come for counseling session 6 months, and the 6 months they have a particular book they will just bring out and be asking questions, and then those questions are not even relational to what's being discussed. So it is important for you as a person to understand these things. These are truths, hard truths. Before you go to marriage, sit the person down and talk about this sex issue. I am not saying you should begin to sleep with each other. I am saying ask the questions about the temperament, questions about the drive. I remember a day I shared a testimony about a couple that I know that he, as the pastor, has to sleep with the wife until when they injected the woman to sleep. And we have to begin to counsel her and then talk to her until she began to have a feeling. Now she claimed she loved the husband. The honeymoon, there was no sexual intercourse, there was nothing like that. So these are the things you need to talk about before you go, because don't enter marriage and you're going to have these issues. Because marriage, it is real. Now, number 6. I'm sure married couples will not tell you this also. Marriage is hard work. Let me say it again. Marriage is hard work. Why is it hard? When you are single, you are free to do anything you like. What did I say? When you are single, you are free to do anything you like. But you are not married. Your sleeping time is not a sleeping time again. Your finances is not your finances again. Your money, your time is not your own again. your external family, they are not your own again. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why before you venture into marriage, have this at the back of your mind. If you want your marriage to be heaven on earth, you must be ready to work hard. Because it will shock you that all these things we are talking about, that I was saying they are the basics, there's a possibility, 100% possibility that when you get married to a man or to a woman, the man or the woman will change. There are things he will do, there are things she will do. She will shock you and wonder, where is this coming from? I didn't see you do. Even as that person is a child of God, that person is a pastor. If it's anybody today that they are smiling today, my parents have been married more than 50 years. And sincerely speaking, I know the hard work my mom puts into the marriage. Till now, I was there yesterday. I know the time, the labor, our money, everything she puts in our body into it. So marriage is hard work that you must consider. Now, number 7, it is important for you to know in marriage, health issue will come. Health issue may be concerning childbirth, health issue concerning maybe sickness, one disease just came up. Ulcer can come into play. Malaria can come into play. We have a pandemic that is ravaging everybody now. Virus, COVID-19 can come into play. There's one health issue that will come up. How would you handle it? You must understand this as a hard truth that must come. They must come. And when they come, if you are not prepared for it, the marriage is off. Because whether you like it or not, a woman wants to give birth, and then other things may follow. How would you handle it if you are not being prepared? Because the essence of this seminar is to prepare you for this issue, because it will come. Sickness will be in place. I remember the first time I experienced a panic attack, ulcer. Just go and eat myself in the toilet, and that was it. I collapsed. I wasn't prepared for it. My wife wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know about it. And that was it. The first experience, the second experience, the third experience, it is a normal thing, so we managed it. And that was on a mild side. There are people like that, their own was even worse than that. So you need to sit him or her down, and the reality of this thing, what is happening. We rest assured that when this happened, because we would have already sat down. So when whatever happened concerning sickness, I've seen couple get married, and after a few months, just now had stroke. As in stroke. It took God. So health issue, don't be fooled. In marriages there are health issues. Don't be fooled about it. In marriages there are health issues. Number 7, and this is important. I talk about childbirth. When children come, don't let me lie to you. When children come, raising children is hard work. Because for a woman to carry to be pregnant for 9 months is hard, serious work. Serious work to be considered. That 2 of them will be doing video. I'm a witness to it. And I know people that are witness to it. Some of them have to do video on their behalf because I have to be there in the hospital, especially when the woman gives birth with the CS. And sometimes I'm on a visitation, and I know how they have to be rowdy. Imagine I'm a neat person, and because I have children, I have to raise children. It will take the preparation of the heart concerning the home to be able to have a settled home, a peaceful home, raising children. Because children will be children, they will do a lot of naughty things. Do you know, as because of this preparation of the thing, because of the reality of the thing, I've seen couples lose their child I remember one of them staying far from us, like send a friend of mine. Yes, they have been believing God for a child, and when the child finally came, they were gisting in the sitting room downstairs. They were staying in a duplex, and then they had a swimming pool. While they were gisting, the baby normally crawls out. There's a network issue, so please, sorry, a bit sorry for the break in transmission. Network issue. You know, it's raining here, and then you know these are our network people. So I was talking about the issue with is not me. But understand that in marriage, raising children is hard work. So if you have issues with attitude with children, now is the time for you to deal with it. If you hate children, hey, as a man hate children, as a woman hate children, and want to have your own, this is the time for you to deal with those issues, or else raising children will be hard for you. Now, number 8, understand that marriage, as a single person, marriage should not be your goal now. Focus on other issues are having a career, because marriage is about complementing each other. Don't forget, I used one English before. Complete. You don't complete your spouse, you complement, you add value. So marriage is all about complementing each other. So if you are getting married to somebody, you are not willing, you are not ready to, you don't have anything to offer, you don't have any value to offer, just to be a yasikra and sit down. At the end of the day, you'll be a useless person to him or to her. And people who are married today, they just hate themselves because they don't manage themselves. And marriage is not about management. Marriage is all about enjoyment, even with all the other extras that go with it. So marriage should not be your goal now. As when I say now, you should consider having. So if you don't have value, like today, I posted on one of my programs this morning. I said after 5 years, you know, I've been cutting a guy, and then I know what I went to a prophet, and the prophet saying, no, you can't marry this person, and she's 25 years old, and they've been cutting this person, and everybody's asking questions. It means that this person doesn't have any value. Because if you have value, you have something to add to the person's life. So it is important for you as a single person, man or woman, have value, have something. Now, I'm not an advocate of going to school or not going to school. Want to go to school, go to school. Want to learn a trade, learn a trade. But have something in the offering box. Have value that you can give your man. Have value that you can give your wife. Number 9. It is important for you to understand this because it is crucial. Forget what is happening in the mills and bone. Forget what is happening on TV. Forget what is happening on all the season film and watch it. What does it? Forget. Because every day is not a good day. There are days you will be sad. There are days you feel like carrying a gun and shooting your husband. There are days you feel like carrying a machete and kill your wife. There are days you don't feel like just say, I beg, just leave me alone. I want to stay on my own. And that's the hard truth. But you see, some people have learned to manage it. They understand that, okay, this is what's happening to my wife now. This is what happened to my husband now. Let me give him peace. Or they find a way around it to be able to cushion what is happening to their spouse. But understand, every day is not celebration day. Not every day see everything's fine and dandy. And that's why it's important for you to know there are wilderness in marriage. Now I don't know how true it is, but I read a research. I read a report whereby it was put that the first year of marriage is always hard. I read another one. Somebody said it is the 5th year. I read another one. He said the 7th year. But whichever year it is, there's always wilderness in marriage. It means there are times in marriage that it will look as if, why did I marry this person? Excuse me. Who is this person? Why? And that is the simple truth. every day is not always rosy. There are days like sad, there are days like anger, there are days like come to hell with this man, to hell with this woman. So you must come to terms with that even before you enjoy marrying. Because if you have come to terms with that before marrying him or marrying her, when things happen, you're not a novice to it, just smile over it and manage the situation. Because the essence of all these things I'm sharing this evening is to learn this thing, and when you finally get married, you can manage these things. Number 9, right? Number 9. So I have shared this before in one of my books, and let me move first. Okay, let me share this first. You can't stop your husband or your wife from falling in love with somebody else. Now, some of them were looking at me. So for God, I said from the beginning, he said love is not enough to sustain a marriage. Love is one of them, and it grows into other areas are there. Imagine you are saying you love your husband, you don't pray. Imagine you are saying you love your wife, you don't have wisdom. You know, the Bible says, no, men should deal with their wife because they are weaker vessel. And you say you love. No, you need other things are there, and that's what I tell people. You know, it is important. Let it to you once again. The devil has said so. Prayer is not the key. What wins battles is not prayer. What wins battle is strategy, and prayer is one of the strategies that wins battle. That's one of them. Imagine the story of Moses. Was Moses praying? An instruction was given to win this battle. There must be Joshua and Caleb to lift the hands of Moses. They want something. This is a winning also. This hand was going to do. So they have to come and join to lift. They're not praying. The strategy then was to help him to lift up his hand, not to pray. So prayer is a strategy, not the key. There are key purposes that will give you keys of the kingdom. So understand this. These are just direct truths. But many today have been to be deceived. They don't. When people are called stuff like this, say no, no, you have read books so much. No, this is wisdom that have been gotten from great men, great women that have made mistakes. I have made my own mistake, and that's why people. It is not a crime to make mistake. It's not a sin to make mistake. It's not a sin to fall. It's not a sin to fail. But don't remain there. Bible says the righteous fall. So rise up again. But to remain there, then you are a failure. So it is important. Number 10, it is important to consider these truths. It is important, I'm saying it again, it is important to consider this truth because it is a strategy that every one of us must take hold of. So finally, number 11. No, I wrote here. Let me look for it. I wrote here so that I'm coming. Oh, before let me. I just saw something just now. Let me share with that. Now, when I talked about sex before, I said you need to understand how the body of the man works, how the body of the woman works. But you need also to understand also there are times like that, even with the understanding of how the body of the man and the woman works, there are times there will be no sexual drive for the man. There will be no sexual drive for the woman. Now, it is not that the person is committing sin. No. It does happen to our body. That the person does not have sexual drive for you. So it has to do with understanding of your spouse. When something is happening or something is disturbing, to be to work it out. Now don't forget the previous point that I mentioned that is so much important. Your husband can fall in love. Your wife can fall in love. But it is the wisdom of the man and the woman to be able to maintain the love for each other, because I always tell people, love grows and love sours and love stagnates. The same way you are feeding yourself, you must feed the love for your spouse. If you are not feeding it, It's either it's growing, you know, whatever you need to spice it up. So if that's the case, don't be surprised in situation of marriage that your husband will not fall in love, because there will be better beauty. It's just the network that is just cutting us. I sincerely apologize for that. Where I was before is on number 10. I said your husband, your wife can fall in love, which is natural because of opposite attraction, because of beauty, of newborn babies and the rest of it like that. They are far more, new ladies that will be much more beautiful with smiles on their face, with better breasts and all those Coca-Cola shaped body. There are better men also outside that will have excuse me, that will have all those things like that. The girl, it is you, the boy, that will be able to maintain your man, that will be able to maintain your wife, even after your wife has given birth, have a flat tummy, you know, all this sort of a body bump, yeah, stomach, have flat breast and all those things like that. There are things that you need to encourage within yourself, the love within yourself, the godly character within yourself will help to weather through. So the one can over fall in love and fall in love, but since you are able to manage your husband or your wife at home, there will be no need for the external factor. The problem is always not being able to manage the one at home. Finally, which is important, the last point that I want to share with us, and I wrote it here. I said something before that marriage is not always a bed of roses. Marriage is not always a series of good attraction. No. Just cancel that from your mind, because other things will come into play. Other things will come into play in your from. Not everybody will tell you the truth. When it comes to marriage, your number one friend should be your husband. Your number one friend should be your husband, should be your wife. Your number one friend should not be your mother. Your number one friend should not be your father. Your number one friend should not be your uncle, your aunt, your sister, your junior sister, elder brother. Your number one friend is your husband, is your wife. Don't get me wrong. Number one friend should not be your bestie. You have a friend, and any small thing you're going. The number one friend should be your spouse, and that's one of the major problem that marriages, married couples, as falling prey of. They don't take, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in marriage, they forget that the first person that should be number one in their life is their husband, is their wife. So in conclusion, network is just doing their own. I want to apologize for the network and all those things like that. Hopefully next time that we'll be sharing, it will be better network for us. So sorry, it's network, it's something, it is the network that is causing all this breakage. What I will do next is I'll try as much as possible to put the post back on the platform, on this platform and on YouTube, and that's why I want to encourage you. All our videos are also on YouTube, on place, and connect to us. By the grace of God, the next class, next time I will be having it either will be on Zoom or on the Facebook, that it will allow the network to be better. And so if you have any questions that you need to ask, for those who's following the video or will follow the video later, please feel free to ask me, chat me up, send it put it on the comments, or chat me up proper, and I will respond to you. Please do help us to like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel of Adebola Praise. There are programs and videos that we've done. You get them there. Listen, marriage is sweet, but there are things you need to understand about marriage. Understand also, there are books that have been written, e-books that have been written concerning something like this, red flags concerning marriages. hard truths nobody told you about marriage, question young people ask, before you say I do. These are books that of mine. You need them. They are just pre-order for them. How much? 1,000 naira. How do you get them? Just drop your email with me, and when you pay, I will send the details to you. You pay, I will send it to you. It's as simple as that. Because when we begin to sell them, it's cheap now. When you begin to sell them proper, it will be 2,000 naira. You can get them now. Pre-order for them. How do you pre-order for them? You can say, send your email, and I will sell our details. So please, I beg you by God's mercy. There are so many questions that you can ask. Don't jumpstart yourself. Bishop says, don't. If you appear before time, you will disappear. There are things you have to settle before you go into marriage. Those are some of those things that I've shared briefly with us. There are others there that you can ask, you can know before you jumpstart. Consider the tradition, consider the tribe,